I'm
Where
going
is
to
it?
record it now. Yep, I'm recording now.
Screen
Okay,
recording.
so for all those who weren't able to join us, I'm just chopping up the shiitake mushrooms. I removed all the stems. And what you can do is you can keep the stems for soup. So you can throw them in your freezer in a Ziploc bag. And when you need a little bit of punch for any of your soups or sauces, you can throw them in. And then just remember to take them out, because usually, most of the time, a lot of these stems are too hard to eat. Okay, that's it. See, it's really fast. Okay, Kappa, I'm just going to mute you because it's kind of noisy, you chopping and stuff. Okay. Okay, so I'm now going to throw the mushrooms in my frying pan, and I'm just going to quickly cook them. Now, the recipe doesn't ask for you to cook them, but in my experience, shiitake mushrooms are really hard to cook fully. So I always zap them in my frying pan, just lay them out very thinly at the bottom of your frying pan with a little bit of oil, like say a teaspoon or something. I have a non-stick, so I don't use a lot of oil. And then I just fry it, and I'm going to be doing something while it's frying. So I'm just going to turn on my stove, and I'm just going to quickly fry it. Just give it a mix. Okay. Now, while that's frying, I'm going to go take and so Kalpa, while you're doing, if you're frying up your mushrooms, just have it on like, I don't know, between your fire between low to medium, so like in a 45-degree angle, so that you can do something else without it burning. So I'm taking my cabbage, and now I'm going to shred it up. And I took a small cabbage, and I halved it, put the other half in the fridge, and now I'm going to core it. So we don't like that core. See that little thing? I'm going to take that out. All right. And now I'm going to start shredding it. And then I'm going to, after it's shredded, I'm actually going to make it even smaller. And the recipe doesn't ask for this, but I usually use like a food processor, which totally would shred it up. So I'm just gonna, and the reason why I'm not using a food processor is because not everyone has one. So I think it's best to try and do this all manually, so anyone with a knife and a cutting board can make this recipe.
Now your knife looks really sharp. Do you sharpen them yourself, or?
Yeah. I'll just show you what I use. Where the heck is it? I think my son was using it last time. Okay. So let's see. Here we are. This is a Henkel's knife sharpener. Anyone can use it. It actually has little arrows, so you just in one direction, and 4 or 5 zaps will sharpen your knife. This is a Japanese Henkel's knife. I think it's Henkel's. No, excuse me, it's Wusthof. And see those little indentations?
Yeah.
Those allow you to cut things, and they will fall off your knife. Okay. I'll show you what else I have.
I have that exact same knife.
Oh, good. So you know what I'm talking about. So
yeah,
I got this at a wedding gift, okay? I haven't used it for 10 years. This is a normal chef's knife. And because this knife is way better. This stuff, everything sticks to it like glue. And this one I can cut potato without it sticking. But, and the Wusthof knife stays sharper, in my opinion, than the Henkel. So, yeah. So I'm just gonna now just quickly stir my mushrooms. And I'm gonna lower my temperature even more to low now. Okay, so we don't wanna burn them. So Kalpa, just lower your temperature to low. And I'm gonna continue to chop. And I'm even gonna dice a little. I don't know. We wanna get rid of all those big pieces. I'm just gonna grab my mixing bowl. All right, so. And I'm just gonna dump everything in to my mixing bowl now. I have a tray here too, but that's not for this. That's for the finished product. So make sure no one else is trying to participate. Okay, so. I feel really bad. I hope people aren't like, what the hell, this isn't working. Anyways, if people want me to do this again and like no one else wants to volunteer, I'll do it again, but this time I'll try and do a lot of like dry runs. I only did one dry run with Kalpa and I thought it worked, but obviously it did not. Okay, so I'm gonna turn off the stove now. And I'm gonna take it off the fire because we don't obviously want the mushrooms to overcook. Now I'm gonna be chopping up the spring onion. I'm only using one because my kids don't like onion. So if your kids are really not into onion, I would suggest not using it at all. And I'm just taking off the end bit. And now I'm gonna start cutting this onion up really small as I can, because again, my kids hate onion, and I'm gonna even dice this even more. So if you guys don't mind eating onion, you can go ahead and keep them larger and put in two, but I know my kids are not into it. So I'm gonna dice this up super fine. Oops, lost one. It's really good to see you, Dan.
Yeah, I really appreciate you doing this. This is awesome.
And so I got this idea from my sister-in-law, who has been joining a Zoom party for 3 months since COVID started. And now they're up to, let's say they're up to 3 dishes sometimes, main dish, side dish, and dessert. So it's amazing what you can accomplish. And it's a really great way to socialize. It's a great way to know your neighbors again and learn something possibly from another culture. I'm hoping that some of the other ladies are going to join in and show us what they can do. And I hope there's one gentleman, Brian, who's not here. He used to be a chef. So I'm really looking forward to what he can contribute. Okay, so the onions are into the mixture. I have so little in there. It's just like a smidgen. Now I'm gonna just rinse off my hands. And then I'm going to do the 2 cloves of garlic. And up till now, I've been using a way to de-skin a garlic by my mother's method, which is just to smash the heck out of it and it would go flying everywhere. Okay, I don't do that anymore. I just take a knife and just be very careful, and I just tap it very lightly until it breaks, and then boom, done. And you have to be really careful to make sure that it's nice sitting properly, it's not rolling around, and just tap. And then the skin just rolls right off. Now, everyone has their own method. Some people have like little, I don't know, little devices, but I figure sometimes you have to, oh, someone texted me. Just a minute. Hopefully they're not trying to get in. No. No, okay, no, everyone's good. Okay. Sorry, let me just get out of the chat. Okay. Okay, so we're just dicing up the garlic.
So how much meat do you have in proportion to the cabbage?
There's 1 pound of meat. And right now the cabbage, I mean, it's a really small head of cabbage and I took half of it. So maybe let's hold off your question. Let me bring up the meat once everything's in here and then you'll see. I may have to actually delete some of the cabbage out. It might be too much. So we'll see. Because that's a lot of cabbage. Because it said 1.5 cups of cabbage. So I think that's more like 2 cups. But I like cabbage. I'm not really into like eating a ton of meat. So let's see if this works. Again, I usually do this in a food processor, which mixes it up really easily. So this is a lot different. All right, now my mushrooms should be, all right. Just gonna throw the mushrooms in there. All righty.
Did they change color or how do you know they're done?
I kind of know. I mean, when it's cooking for that long,
Okay.
You kind of know, and they're really small and diced, so should be no problem. Okay, so I'm just gonna check my recipe.
Do you cook it so it's completely soft or sort of medium?
So I'll just show you. It's still very soft. Oops, it's still very soft. You can even taste it. Done. No, it's good. Excellent. And again, it's like, you don't have to do this, but the danger is that you might cook your pot sticker and they're not going to be quite done yet. And I just don't think it's a good thing. Plus which some people will use dried shiitake mushrooms and they'll have this idea that it will be just the same as fresh. And for sure that will not work. You have to cook dried shiitake mushrooms first, or else you'll have you have to throw out the whole thing. It'll be just very, very sad. Okay, so let me grab my recipe. I just want to make sure I have everything. Oh, here we are. So I have, okay, I think I got all the chopped stuff. Okay, I'm going to bring up the meat now. So I just used, just meat from the store. I didn't go do anything fancy. Okay, I'm just going to open it up. So right now, let me just measure how much cabbage. I think this is definitely way more than, so that's 1 cup right there. And then the rest is a lot. So I think I'm going to start removing stuff. And the reason why I hate to say this, but I usually cook like this. I don't cook from recipes that much. So I think people are going to get a little frustrated with me. So I'm just going to remove, say, let's see, 1 cup I'm removing. But that's why we have it on video. Okay, so I just removed 1. I think I'm just going to remove 1 cup. That's it. So here's the proportion. Okay, and I think that's around, let me just see. 1, I would say 2 cups of spinach. And now I'm going to put in my meat. Just dump it in. That's it. Huh? Okay, So now I should probably add my liquid ingredients. All right. So we need, oh, you're right, and ginger. So Kalpa, if you're following the recipe totally, there is ginger. And again, my kids can't stand ginger, so I didn't add it. And I know Kalpa knows how to chop ginger. So the big thing with ginger is to remove the skin very delicately. You can use a fruit knife and chop it up really, really well, like go crazy, because you don't want to have a mouthful of ginger in there. So anyways, I'm keeping this simple. I'm not using ginger. All right, so let's do the soy sauce. So I have my measuring spoon, and I have 2 tablespoons of soy sauce plus 1 teaspoon. All right, so here we go. I'm using Kikkoman. 1, 2. Oh, someone texted me. Okay, oh, Travis just texted me, so he's a new friend of mine. And 1 teaspoon. Okay. And then 1 teaspoon sesame oil, which is somewhere. Where did I put it? Oh, here it is. 1 teaspoon sesame oil. Okay. 1 teaspoon sesame oil and 1 teaspoon. Okay, I'm not putting in the sriracha. Okay, and then half a teaspoon cornstarch. I'm just using the spoon that's in my cornstarch thing. And again, I just eyeball this. So that's, I think, half a teaspoon, or roughly. There we go. Okay. All right, and then let's start stirring. And again, this is so much easier with a food processor. This would probably take maybe, I don't know, 5 seconds with a food processor. This might take a while. And unfortunately, I may have to use my hands to really get this well mixed. So we'll see how this works. How are you doing, Kalpa? Oh, I should unmute you. Oh, you're. Oops. Okay. So this is taking a bit of time to mix, and that's understandable because this is all done by hand. So if you're using a vegetarian grind, and which is texture-wise is probably more akin to, say, cooked ground beef or cooked any ground meat, I would say that at this stage you're probably going to get really frustrated because you're saying it's not sticking. Like this is sticking right now. Okay, this one's asking me to load something. Okay, so right now I would say this. I would probably add an egg An egg will help bind your mixture together a lot easier. Or you could do a number of other things that I know would work. You could add some, Catherine, are you around? Oh no, my daughter's not around. What's it called again? Is there these little seeds? Kappa, do you know what I'm talking about? The little seeds that are kind of sticky? I have it in my cupboard. Let me just quickly grab what I'm talking about. Chia seeds, that's it. Gosh, had a bit of a, so chia seeds, when wet, actually get very sticky and would allow the whole, your vegetarian grind to start sticking together. So I would use maybe a tablespoonful, and you may have, and with maybe an added egg. If you don't want to eat eggs, I'm not sure. I think the chia seed would do just fine with a little bit of water if you had to add a little bit of water or a little bit of vegetable broth. Okay, so my mix is now fully incorporated. Took a while. Okay, so now I'm going to start making the Potstickers. All right. All right. So I'm using just the stuff that I bought at Hy-Vee. Just gonna lay them on my sheet, my cookie sheet. All right, and then now I have a little container of water, and that's gonna be my glue. See, it's a little ramekin of water. And I just need a spoon. I'll just turn this off for now. I'll need a spoon, and I'm going to spoon some in. So the first couple are usually pretty dry, but I'm going to use it because I don't like wasting anything. So I'm going to put in, like, say, a teaspoon. Yeah, that's about a teaspoon. And I'm going to fold it over corner to corner. And then I'm going to dip my finger in the water, and then I'm just going to paint it like that. Now, my mom uses a beaten egg to use as a glue. Water's fine if you don't want to add an egg. And there it is. Just put it down, and you do your next one. So the texture of this pot sticker I would consider pretty coarse. Again, if you can, oops, I forgot to add the water. If you can invest in a food processor, if you want to make it more traditional. And another great addition to the meat mixture is a little bit of raw shrimp. That really brings up the flavor up a lot. All right. So I'm just going to try and do this as fast as I can. I'm not going to do this slow anymore. And this is something, the activity of making pot stickers is a lovely family thing. So you can gather everyone around the kitchen table with your mixture in the center, your skins in the center, and everyone can wash their hands, of course, grab some and start making them. And it goes by really quickly. Once your kids actually start eating homemade pot stickers, they'll probably eat, if they're like my kids, like 30 each. So you have to make a lot. So at this, so lots of hands make less work for you, and this is what I would suggest. So I think for this demonstration, I'll make around enough for one pan, and the rest I'm going to invite my family to come down and do, which will be off camera, because this is a lot of work, and I think you all will appreciate that. And your kids would just love to do this. Right now, my children are nowhere to be seen because they're shy. All right. How are you doing, Kalpa? I can't hear you. You doing okay? Okay. Another way you can use to glue the skins together is just, if you're using raw meat and not the vegetarian mix, is just dip your finger in the meat and you can use it as a glue, because ground meat is very, very sticky. But I don't think you'll have any difficulty. I think if you're using a traditional pot sticker skin, they're much thicker and possibly less easy to glue together. And that's when you start bringing out the beaten egg. All right, so I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I think that's probably more than enough for one pan. So let me wash my hands, or rinse them off anyways. Okay. So I'm going to turn on my stove to about medium now, and I'm going to put in about, I would say, 2 tablespoonfuls of oil. So be generous, especially in the first time around. And I'm just using the same pan that I used for the mushrooms. And just going to let that warm up a little bit. All right, so just going to let it warm up a little bit longer. I also use this nifty tool. It's a grease splatter protector, and it's made out of silicone, and I got it at TJ Maxx when they were actually opened. And I use this to reduce the splatter. Okay, I think we're good. I'm gonna now I'm gonna move my camera to the stove. Just a minute. Okay, turn on more lights. And let's see if I can move this over. Okay. Okie dokes. This works. Okay. Let's throw this in. Yep, it's definitely warm enough. So I can fit in comfortably 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7. Okay. And it's not splattering, so I don't need to use my splatter guard. And it's on medium, my stove. Okay. Just turned on the fan a little bit more. It's getting a little greasy smelling. Okay, so I'm going to check it. Yep. I'm going to flip it around now. I'm going to reduce the temperature just a little bit. It's a little too hot. I don't want to burn my pot stickers. And I'm just going to go grab my container. So once they get browned on either side, you want to put in some water to steam it. But see, the browning is really important because if you don't brown it, it'll just taste like wonton, which is boiled. And we want to have that nice pot sticker flavor. So, okay, I think I'm done. I'm now going to add, see, it's really fast. Going to add the water in now. It's about a 1/4 cup. Oh, okay. That's when you have the lid. So Kalpa, make sure you have a lid handy. So I think yeah, that's a 1/4 cup. Okay, so that's pretty splashy. And let that steam. Now you can probably raise the temperature a little bit again, so it's like medium. But depending on your stove, I mean, that might be too hot. So you got to just play with it. Right now we're trying to steam it, so okay, I'm just going to have it just below medium. And this is where we're actually cooking the pot sticker. The steam in there is going to cook the meat, cook the skins, and cook everything in there. And this is why I keep saying this, pre-cooking the mushrooms is important because everyone's technique is going to be a little different. Maybe you don't cook it in, well enough. The meat's cooked, but then, you know, the mushrooms aren't. All right, so the instructions say around 2 or 3 minutes. I just keep looking at it to see. It's hard to see through the lid, but I can see that things are already, yep, things are already done. But in my opinion, I don't think I added enough water. So I'm going to add a bit more because I want to make sure that this is really cooked. So I added a bit more water. And this is my first trial. Like when you're cooking, you're going to see that this is your first batch. May not be perfect, but it really gives you an idea of what your next batches are going to be like. So you can't go wrong here, even if they come out a little soggy. Number one, you really have to make sure things are cooked, and B, they will dry out once you open the lid. So let's just wait a little longer.
Is there any advantage to pre-cooking the beef?
No, not at all, because it's not going to be sticky enough. And so Kalpa, when she was discussing this with me, she wanted to try steaming them. And I think that if you use the really much thicker skins, they're usually round, and they're called pot sticker skins. They'll probably hold up. But these are wonton skins, are much, much thinner. And I think if you were to steam all this, it would just become a gloopy mess. And you could ask me, why did I use these skins? It's because that they're more readily available than the round skins. And I wanted everyone to be able to make this anytime. You know, they didn't have to go to a specialty store and grab the skins. And also, I don't really like thick skins. I like the meat. So I'm sticking a little bit, which is kind of unfortunate, but here we are. Okay, so I think this is done. I'm just going to let it dry out a little bit more. Going to get out a plate. So I think when I added the water, it actually made them a bit too sticky. So that was a mistake of mine. So here you go. This is what a mistake looks like. So I'm going to take them out now. So these are really ugly because they stuck to the pan.
Well, they still look fantastic.
I'm sure they taste okay, but they're sticking to the pan. So that was probably a mistake of mine. But I was just so worried about the meat not cooking. So what do you do when you make a mistake and you have stuff stuck to your pan? Well, this is going to happen to anybody. You take it to the sink and you rinse off your pan, scrape it down, and you start again. And if you have a gas fire, it warms up really quickly. Electric, not so much. Okay, so here you go. See, it's all sticking. I'm not going to take it to my sink. Just use my thing, scrape it down. I'm going to turn off my fire and start again. Okay, turn on the fire again. All right, and now I'm gonna do this one more time. Let me just quickly make another 2 pot stickers. This won't take long. My pan is heating up. How are you doing, Kalpa? Hope you're doing okay.
Yeah,
You're doing well?
I think so.
Oh, good. You didn't have like a major sticky moment like me?
Well, I'm still working on it, so.
Okay.
So here, I don't know how to do this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't think I have a reverse camera on this one. No,
Okay, so I'm just making up an extra 3. I'm just going to do 3 more here. My pan is hot. I'm going to put in, oh, let me just put in a little bit more oil.
Can you see it? Or no? No.
Can I, no?
No, it doesn't have the camera to flip.
That's okay. You can, you know what, you can photograph
Oh, there
what
it
you've
is.
done.
Oh, it's on the other side. I don't know the iPad version. There.
Just take a photo, of what you've done, and then you can post it to the site. Oh, that looks great. Oh, yours looks perfect, not like mine. Okay, so mine is, I'm going to cover mine a little because it's splashing a little. Again, I'm going to do the frying up first. So Kalpa's, yours looks done already, so you should probably take it out after you added the water.
I'm going to add water still. It's not even.
Okay.
So
And
is it
have your lid ready because it's going to start splashing.
Yeah. So about 2 cups of water in it, or
No, a 1/4 cup.
quarter?
Yep. So right now I lowered my heat while I was frying to about from low, midway between low and medium. And then when you pour in the water, I would say keep it that way because I'm thinking that my pan was too hot. All right, now I'm going to add my water and have my lid ready. Oh, there we go. Okay. Okay, these are a little better. Now I'm just going to let the water dissipate. And they're actually still pretty firm. So this is a good sign. How's yours doing, Kalpa?
It's doing okay.
Okay.
I don't know how long do you cook it for?
It should be, once they are in the water, probably only 2 minutes.
Really?
Yep.
Is that fast?
Yep. Mine's done.
What type of oil are you using?
I'm using olive oil, excuse me, avocado oil. Because I think olive oil, I'm going to turn this off now. Olive oil is a little bit too flavorful. It will add too much olive taste, unless you really like that. It's just not that traditional. Avocado oil doesn't have a lot of flavor, so that's why I like it. So I'm just going to plate this, just the nice ones anyways. Not my, not my rejected ones.
Yours is done?
Mine are done. This is my second batch that I got done. So let's see now. So there they are. Oops. Trying to get the right angle here. There they are. And they're moist to the touch, but they're still firm. And they have a nice brown. Kalpa, you might have overcooked your first batch, just letting you know. So after they're browned, basically 2 minutes in this, after you put the water in, 2 minutes in, then you open the lid and then you let the water dissipate. If you still have a little bit of water left like I did, that's not a problem. And that's it. And now they're ready to eat. So I'm just going to show you one that I opened up because I wanted to see if it was done. These are my rejected ones. So here's my rejected ones. As you can see, they're all messed up. But as you can see, the inside is cooked. It's still very moist. Now, the reason why I put in the cornstarch is it makes everything a lot smoother on the inside. Like it has a good texture, and it tastes great. Now, the recipe does ask for a side of soy sauce with vinegar. These are salty enough, in my opinion. I don't think I would add any more salt to this. In fact, if anything, I try not to mess with the recipe. I would say don't add the 1 teaspoon of soy sauce to the mix. I think that's just too much. And I would add like a low sodium soy sauce with the rice vinegar, and then that would probably make it, right? Do you agree? It's a little bit on the salty side.
It's
So
good.
yeah, it's good, but I think it's a little salty. So I don't think it needs any more salt.
No.
Maybe a little bit of sriracha sauce, because I like sriracha. But yeah.
They look fantastic.
Yeah, well, thanks. Just gonna see if I can do this. So thanks for joining us. I really appreciate you joining me. I totally messed up. It's possible that no one joined us because I messed up the Zoom link, but I'm gonna post this, and I'm hoping that the next time around, it will be better. So Dan, are you interested in volunteering?
Oh, for the next round?
Yeah.
Maybe.
I know you cook.
Yeah.
I know you make great coffee. And it can be anything. It could be desserts, mains, sides. What do you do with leftovers? I don't care. So, you know, I think, or making drinks. I mean, it would be lovely to get a whole episode on making drinks. So anyway, so thanks everyone. I hope you can join us again. And I'm gonna sign off now. So Dan, I will contact you offline, and we can discuss stuff.
Okay. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks, Dan. Thanks, Kalpa.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye.
Nice meeting you.
Thanks.
Same here.